Felony drug crimes in the state of New York are broken down into different levels, from A1 and A2 being the most severe charges for felony drug crimes to E felonies. There's also what's called a drug kingpin law, which requires mandatory prison sentences. Some of these crimes can result in probation. Some of these crimes mandate prison, and a person's criminal record will be taken into account when determining what sort of punishment the person can receive. Usually I find myself representing people charged in federal drug cases with having more than a kilo, but I've also had cases where they haven't been charged with a kilo, where they've actually possessed less than a kilo. While I can't count how many drug cases I've handled over my career, I can say that typically speaking, marijuana, cocaine, and heroin tend to be the ones that I most often handle. Sales, distribution, trafficking all tend to bring felony charges where a person is looking at prison term. Sometimes on a very small street sale of small amounts of cocaine, there wouldn't be a felony charge, but typically speaking, if a person is engaged in any serious amount of drug sales, it will bring felony charges. The only question becomes is the amount large enough, or is the organization sophisticated enough for the federal government to take over the prosecution or to initiate it? Another issue also becomes the sophistication of the organization and how much time the federal government has spent investigating the case. I mean, oftentimes if the federal government has tapped phones, if they've been following certain defendants and investigating the case for a long period of time, well, perhaps when they actually make an arrest, there won't be kilos found there. There might be less. The federal government still hopes to try to turn various people who've been arrested into, as what's colloquially called, snitches, in the hopes that those people will then turn over bigger fish for the federal government to fry. That's why it's very important to have a criminal defense lawyer who works in this area, knows the area and the prosecutor's office as well, because you never know whether the federal government or the state prosecutor's office will take the case once you start getting into hundreds of milligrams of heroin or cocaine.